So we're looking at find and replace. All right, so can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
sir,
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you.
All right. So on the first page, you can see we have there the concatenate sign. This first page. So I would like us to click on it. Let our laptop be here. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
All right. So basically, if you look at the what I sent you, I already defined or tried to explain through writing what the concatenate functions works at, how it works. So now, if you look at this Excel sheet, we have first name and we have last name. All right. So if you are being sent a data set, probably like by a company, and they are asking you to like work on it, but when you have the first name and the last name separated like this, you might not be able to do much with it, and you want to bring it together. Now it's not only about the name. Any data set you have, and you want to bring two columns together or two text values together in different columns, that's when you make use of this concatenate function. Because basically, you need to understand what you are trying to solve, what problem you are trying to solve. Then you will know which of the functions and which of the formulas we are to apply. So what we are doing here is to join these two names together to become full name. Do you understand that? Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So for the concatenate function, we'll use our equal sign equals. Remember, whenever we are trying to do any function, we start with equal sign. So you click equals conc. So you see there, it has brought out different options for me. So I'll pick concatenate. All right. So now it's asking now, what am I trying to join together? You see there you see text one, text two, and all of that. So now I'll pick this name as the first concatenate sign. I mean the first text I want to pick. Then I also pick this. Then I'll close the parentheses and enter. Now, if you look at this, it auto-filled everything for me, and there's no space in between the name. Now, this is not really making any sense. We need to have a space in between. So now what we are supposed to do actually, let's go back. So equals concatenate. When we pick the first name, put a comma sign, then you make use of your parentheses for you to have a space. So now what I just did in between there now, I just created a space. Then I pick the second name, I close my bracket, and I press enter. Now as you can see, it has run the same function. It has run for all the names, we have here. So let me see if I can do that here. I don't like this auto filling this thing. But do we all get this answer?
Yes, sir.
Yes, boss.
All right. So now I want to explain something. The thing is auto filling. I don't know why. Coming. This thing is auto fill. Okay, yeah.
Please,
So
sorry, sir. Please, I have a
yeah,
question. How did you make
how did you create that space between the two names? Please, I didn't get you.
Okay,
Thank
I'll come again now. I'm coming. Just hold on. Okay, now let's do this again. Let me repeat it. So you press your equal sign. We are trying to join these two together. Your equal sign, then you pick your formula, which is concatenate. You click it, then we select the first name. So we want this to be the first name. You input your comma, then you press your shift and apostrophe. You put the first one and you put the second one. Can you see that sign there? Ma, can you see the sign we used to create the space?
Yes, sir.
All right. So after you press the first one, you put a space in between before you put the second one. So you are trying to tell Excel that you need a space in between. Then you select the second name, you close it, then you enter. Now, mine was auto-filling at first. So when you do this for the first one, and you want to auto-fill that same formula for your data set, let's say we have like 1,000 or 500, you can't be pressing this formula one after the other. So you just come here towards the right at this edge here. You can see the cross on. Can you see my mouse, please? This bold cross. All right, so you double click it there. Once you double click there, it will auto fill for as many data sets as you have. All right. Hope you all got that.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go to the
Yes.
next.
But
Please,
why
Excuse me,
was it
sir.
auto-filling the first time without you even setting it that way?
okay, because I've done that countless time, so it was just responding to my command. So that's just it. So I wanted to show you how to autofill. That's why I had to delete it, the autofill function from my Excel to start afresh. Is that clear now?
How do we do that? So in case, how do we stop autofilling on our own?
I'm coming.
I'm sorry for interruption, Mr. Ebenezer. I just quickly want to tell Adeyemi that I dropped a message for him on Slack concerning their attendance because I close from work by 7 and I stay back till 7:30. And I
Okay.
finish up with the recording on the next day. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Adeyemi, are you on this call?
Please, can you come again, please? I didn't hear you. Can you come again?
Yeah, it was Feoluwa that was saying something to you. She said, yeah, she dropped a message for you.
She
Yeah.
dropped a message for me on Slack.
Yes, I said I dropped a message on the channel. I
Okay.
close at work by 7, but I stay back till 7:30 to join this class. So, and then I continue with the recording the next day. So I'm saying that because of the weekly attendance, in case you drop it at the end of the class and I'm no longer there.
Okay. So now you are saying we should drop it at first. Let's say
You can
doing
drop it by
doing
7:30 anytime.
Okay, so
But I drop
okay,
off
like
by
I said,
7:30.
like I said, I'm going to drop it twice. So now to accommodate you, probably because of your work and all that. So I'm going to drop it twice. First,
Okay.
at the beginning of the session, and
Okay.
towards the end.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So thank you. I hope
Thank
that
you,
works.
Mr. Ebenezer. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's continue. So now I want to show us how we use the find and replace. Find and
Excuse me,
replace.
sir.
Yeah, who
Hello,
is that?
sir.
Yeah, I'm listening. Please, if
You
you have a
wanted to
question.
teach us
Yeah?
how to remove.
Autofill.
How to autofill.
How to
I sh-
remove it. That was what you wanted to teach us before somebody had a complaint.
okay. I After I have tried it countless times, it was showing me this kind of sign. Can you see where my mouse is? Yeah, so you can always remove it from here. It will show you different option, but I don't have that option again because I started afresh. So if the thing has saved my autofill, it will show me an option from here, so I'll be able to remove it from there. Did you get that?
Sarah,
All
is
right.
it that page it would stop automatically creating calculated columns?
Yes,
Is it
yes. That was where I
oh,
did it.
okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, let's do the count and find and replace. Please, in case you have any question, you can just hold on till the end of the class so you will entertain all questions. It won't take much time. You can just note your question down. Then at the end of the class, we'll take it on. So now for find and replace. So let's say you're working in a company that have different departments. Like you can see, if you look at this job title I listed here, you can see we have data analyst, we have mobile engineer, we have product designer, and all of that. But the person that imputes the data set made a mistake while spelling. Now, one of the ways to detect those kind of mistake is you make use of your um, filter. You impute filter on your data set. Let me show you how to do it. You go to the heading. You did for the heading. You impute filter. Then you come here. You pick filter. You can see what I just did now. I just pick filter. So now I'm trying to check the different kind of job title we have here. I'll just click on this arrow here. As you can see, as I click on this arrow, it's now showing me the different job title I have. So if you read along, you see here we have back-end development. So now we all know that there's nothing like back-end development. What we have is back-end developer. So definitely, whosoever imputed this data set has made a mistake. And for us to have an accurate result where we are doing our visuals, pivot tables, and calculations, we need to correct this first. So what we'll do here is we'll make use of find and replace. So now you can just type in what you want to correct. Actually, let me show you something. You can easily come here to your data set and correct it. But why I'm not showing you that, because if this data set is much, like this, let's assume this mistake repeats itself like 10, 20 times. You won't start typing that in one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. So if we make use of find and replace, what will do for us is it will search for the mistake wherever it is and to replace it with whatever correct spelling of the correct words we are going to command it to replace with. So what we'll do is so we can use find and replace from our ribbon here. If you look down towards the left, you'll see it here. After this filter, you see where we have find and select. You can click here and then you click on find. All right, do you all get that? So here we'll input what are we looking for. So we are looking for back-end development.
Back-end
So
development.
that was it. Yes, yes, that was what was spelled wrongly. So you type it in, back-end development. Then you find all. Then you go to your replace. So now Excel is asking us now that what are we replacing it with? So we want it to be replaced with the word back-end developer. Then we click replace all. As you can see, it just showed me pop up a message that it has replaced one backend development to backend developer. So now, if I check here from my filter, there is no longer any job title like back-end development. What we have there now is back-end developer. So it has corrected that mistake. So let me show something else. So I canceled the correction we made. So I want to show us another way we can bring out find and replace. So if you can't, you don't want to use this your ribbon to start looking for find and replace, you can just press your Control H. You can see immediately I pressed it, brought the same pop-up. So once you click your Control H, it will also bring out the find and replace. Then you just input what you want to find and what you are replacing. Then you give the command replace all. So it has done what you say, all done. We made one replacement. So if the mistake happened like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it will indicate that it has replaced it all. So that's it for find and replace. Okay, do we all get that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So please, if you have any question, just jot it down. I'll take question after the. Class. So now let me quickly show something else. Joy, I sent the data set to the Slack channel before the beginning of the class.
Okay. Temporary. Okay. The name is not even my own.
Oh,
So
wait,
let me
wait.
see.
So I want to show
Please,
us average if.
your questions can wait. Your questions can wait
All right.
till
So now I want
after
to do the
the. You can continue, sir. You can continue. We can hear you, but your voice is low.
Yes.
Yes, but it's breaking a bit.
So please, before Iben comes back, please, your questions can wait. Okay, I think from now on we are going to start doing this probably after explaining one function, maybe tonight night, like you explained concatenate, what they call it. So after then we can ask questions for like maybe 1 to 2 minutes. Then we go on. So please don't raise up your hand or mute your mic to ask question during the class when the instructor didn't tell you to ask question, please, because the classes they are being recorded and it's takes a lot of time to edit all these side questions out, please. So I think from now maybe probably 30 minutes of explanation, then maybe one to 5 minutes of questions. So we'll go on again. Please, when the class is going on, let's just keep the deck on this Augustine.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, boss.
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So I want to show us let's do average A. So now average A is kind of similar to the normal average, but there are just a few differences. So let's just do it. So now if you pick average A and you select this,
Sir, we can't see the screen.
you can see
Please,
my
sir, you're not
screen.
You're
sharing
not sharing.
again. You're not sharing again, no.
Okay, I'm coming. Oh, stop sharing my screen. Still is not working. Okay, I'm sharing again. All right, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir. We
sir.
can see your screen.
All right. So want to check the average wages of all workers in this company. Now, if we use average A, select average A. Now it has given us this. I'm coming out to explain something. Just follow me. Now, and we use average if, just average rather, equals average. Now, this is for this first one here. I use the average function. It gave us the same answer. And I use average A and also give us the same answer. Now, I want to show us the difference between these two. Now, average A, if we have a blank space here, for instance, all right, average A, we pick this blank space and it will give us a calculation. It's coming. Let me remove this. Let me put. Oh. All right. Can we all see the changes I just made on in the wages column now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have a space here, we have true here, we have false, and we have a random name here. Now let's use average to calculate the average salary in this column. Before I explain. Now, this first calculation I made, I use average. Okay, sorry. Coming. All right. Now this first calculation that we have this answer equals average. It gave us 5,719. But if you look at this one, for average A, it's giving us 4,815.842. Now, what's the difference? When we add a numeric all true, we got the same answer. But now I added true or false, I added a name, I added this blank space, and then we're having different answer. Now let me explain this to us. For average, it only pick those numeric figures we have there. Like it did not pick this blank space, it did not pick this true, it did not pick this false, it did not pick this name. That's how the average function works. Anytime you input equals average, it will only pick the numbers you have there. It will not pick blank space, it will not pick true, it will not pick false, it will not pick any other thing, just the figures. But for average A, anywhere you have a blank space like you are seeing here, average A will calculate that blank space as 0. Anywhere you have true, if it is true, average A will calculate this true as 1. Anywhere we have false, average A calculates the false as 0. And if you have a name or any text value that is not true or false and is not specific, we have another text value in that column, average A we calculate that text value as 0. So now that is how we're able to get this answer. So he actually calculated everything that we have in here, but the average function, it calculated just the figures like the 5,000, the 7,005, and all of that. But average A picked the somewhere I wrote here. He picked false, he picked true, and he also picked this blank space here. So if you are doing a data set, be sure you pick, when you are trying to calculate your average, do not mistake average A for average. Because if there's a mistake in that column, average A will still give you a result, but you might be making mistake. But for you to be able to pick the right thing, it's best to use your average function. Do you all get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, I will explain again. Now, for these functions, this one, we use average A for this column, and for this result, we use average A, average and average A. When you use average to calculate in a column, average will not pick this blank space we have here. It won't pick this true we have here. It won't pick false. It will only pick the numeric figures. But when you use average A to make calculations, average A will consider this blank space as 0. It will consider this true as 1. Anywhere it sees true, it consider it as 1. Anywhere it sees there is false, it consider it as 0. That's for average A. And if there's any text value in that column, like a name or anything written in words, it will calculate it as 0. So that's why we are having this figure here, 4815.842. But in average, the same column, we're having 5,719 as the average salary. All right, so let's do one more thing. Now, please look at my screen. If you read what is here, after I wrote average A, Excel just writes what its function for is. If you read it here, you said return the average arithmetic mean of its arguments, evaluating text and false in arguments at 0. True evaluates as 1. Arguments can be numbers, names, arrays, or reference. So if you have number, if you have name, if you have anything, average A will pick it. But if you are using average, so it only works with numbers. Basically, average works with just numbers. So one thing I would like us to always do is, when you are using a particular function and you don't really understand how it works, try to read this. So when you read what this feedback Excel is giving you, so you will know what this function will work for and what it might not work for. Because by the time you are able to interpret the problem you are trying to solve, that's when you will know what function to use. So if you are using sum if, where you are supposed to be using count if, you will actually get a result, but you are just going to get the wrong one. So you need to actually know what does this problem, what does it mean? So you need to be able to interpret the problem, and then you know what solution are you going to apply. So one more thing, and then that's it. So we're doing average if. Okay, let me input this back. Okay, I saw something just now. Someone said she can't see my screen. Please, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. So for average if, average if. So what we want to check now is the average salary for data analysts. So now we have different data analysts here, and their salary is not the same. Their wages are not the same. So this one is earning 5,000. This one is earning 4,500. This one is earning 452, and this is also 5,000. So let's assume we have a company that has close to like 1,000 or 5,000 workers, but the boss wants to know the average salary of a particular set or a particular section. Like, you just want to know, he's just concerned with data analysts. Let's assume he's trying to increase their salary, or maybe they are not working as much as he expects. So he's like, let me even know how much I'm spending on these guys, if they are worth increasing or I should decrease. Then he or she comes to you as a data analyst and says, tell me the average amount a data analyst is earning in this company. So we don't need the average amount for the front-end developer. We don't need the average salary of the web designer. We don't need the average salary of the mobile engineer. So we are trying to pick out just the average salary of the data analyst. So that's where the average if comes in. So we are going to be telling Excel, tell me the average salary if the person is a data analyst. So that's what we are trying to do now. So you press equals average if. Now, what we are trying to check is asking us that where is the range? So now where can we find data analyst? This is the range for the data analyst. So we'll click this range. So what's the criteria? We want to check the average salary of a data analyst. So this is where the salary is. So we click the wages and then we close it. So now what we are asking Excel to do for us is, if the person is a data analyst, bring their salary together and give us the average. So it's just going to pick just those that are data analysts and give us the average salary they are earning. So as you can see now, in this company, the average salary of a data analyst is 4,800 naira, $800 rather. All right, so do you all got this?
Yes, sir.
No, please, can you come back? Sorry.
All right, let me do that again. So what we are trying to check here is the average wages of a data analyst. Okay. We have different departments in this company, and we have different salary for each and every one of them. But we are just concerned with the data analysts. We want to check their average salary. So we want to pick this information in such a way that Excel will not pick that of the mobile engineer, the product designer, and all of that. So in the average function, we did it for just everybody. Okay, I changed some value. Yes, the thing is, just make sure that any value you change yours to, you input the same formula and you get the. Are you with me? All right, yes. The answer for the first data set I sent to you guys is 59. That should be your answer. So if you do not change your values like I did, you should be getting 59. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Ayodeji, your 59 is correct. So let me explain again for the benefit of I do not get it. So now in a data set or in something like this, where you are trying to get the average salary of just a particular set of people. So we are only concerned with data analysis now. In the average function, we were doing the average salary of all the workers in this company. But for AVERAGEIF, we just want to pick out the wages, the average wage of a data analyst. So that's why we have to use the AVERAGEIF function. So what we are telling Excel here is that if the person is a data analyst, calculate the average wage. So what Excel will do for you is it will just pick out those that are data analysts in the data set and calculate their salary and give us an answer. So we are going to be using the AVERAGEIF function. So if I press equals AVERAGEIF, now the first thing Excel is asking is for which range. So now, which range can we find a data analyst? So the data analyst is here, the job title. So now, what is the criteria? Which of these job title, which of them are you trying to filter out? So we are looking for the average salary of a data analyst. So we'll write it this way. And please make sure when you are typing, you don't make mistake in your typing, so it will give you the correct answer. Coming. So now what are we checking for? We are checking for their average wage. So we'll click the wage column and then we close it and you press enter. So the average wage of a data analyst in this company is 4,800. We can do that for another. Okay, let's do it for the web designers. So for the web designers, average if so this is the average salary, average wage of a web designer. So if as many as they're asking you to do, you can just keep doing that rather than you having to start picking them one after the other. So that's what all this Excel function does. Okay, I'm seeing some messages. I'm coming. Let me quickly check. Okay, let's try. Let me try this. Okay, yes. What's your name? Florence. So instead of typing, like you said, you can just pick from, from the column. You can just pick which of the job titles you are looking at instead of typing it out like that. All right. So it works both ways. So you can either type it out or you can just pick from the column. So it works both ways.
I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on Sunday we'll be doing VLOOKUP, and I think Mr. Okiki will be on the call to take us on VLOOKUP and SLOOKUP, hopefully. So if you have any questions for now, you can just ask your questions. Someone is raising up his hand. Sorry, I'm trying to check your
Okay.
name.
Please, can you hear me?
Okay, Beatrice, I can hear you.
Yeah. Like when you were teaching the concatenate, I tried to do it on my own, and I noticed that there was no space. I think the network was kind of breaking at that point when you were teaching on how to space it or something. So, because when I did it, the first name and the last name, they both joined together. So I want to know how you did it in order to cause like space in between the two names.
Okay. Let me go back to it. So someone else have a question. I'm coming. I'll get to your question, Beatrice. I'll show you now. Sorry, I can't see your name. Aki something.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Yeah, you
sir.
can go ahead.
Could I ask? Okay. My question is about the average. If we're asked to find the average of the wages of data analysts of the analyst, and they give us an age range. Maybe they want us to find the average wage of a data analyst above 50 or above 60. How do we go about that?
Okay. So I've taken note of that question. So let me first handle that of Beatrice. So you said you did not get the concatenate when we were doing that. So please look at this. I'm taking it again. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
So equals concatenate. So now the first text we are going to be picking here is the first name. So we want to bring the first name and the second name together. But it might not be names all the times. But I'm just using this one as an example. But in most cases, it's always names that are always separated like this. So you pick this as a first, put your comma, then you add that. So now this sign I added here, I'm trying to tell Excel to give me a space. So what I'm doing is to create a space. Then I'll pick the second name, then I'll close it, and then I press enter. So if you look at my formula bar here, you will see the formula I used. So just repeat it, just do it. So Beatrice, can you hear me?
Yes, I get it now. Thank you.
All right. So now for you to be able to repeat it, what you just did for all other columns, all other rows, you come here, you can see this cross sign here.
Drop
Then you
down
double
arrow.
click it. Then it will just repeat the same formula for everything.
Thank you very much. I get it now.
All right.
Please,
So
sir,
now,
the average if I didn't get
yes.
it though, my average if is giving me another thing, please.
Okay. So what's your name again? That lady asked a question. Please, if you ask a question, just type your question to the message box so I can just attend to it. All right. Did you get me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
So the lady asked a question. I'm trying to remember what your question is again. You said if you are looking for the data analysts that are 50 years.
Yes, sir. Like if they give us an age range for the data analyst, like find the average wages of data analysts that are 50 years and above or that are 40 years and above, something like that.
Okay. So somebody else also said she did not get the average if. Oh, let me delete all of this. Let me attend to that question first. I'm coming to you. So those of us that did not got the average if function. All right. So now this is it too. So let me explain this for the last time. If you are trying to get the average wage of data analysts, now what you do is click the average if functions. Then where is the average? Where is data analyst located? They are from the, you see, it's under the job title. Then we pick this as our first range. Now, what is the criteria? What are we looking at? You can pick data analysis. So there are two ways to write this. You can write it out this way. Or you just click the data analyst from the data set. And then you pick the wages column, and then you close it. So we have been able to get the average salary for a data analyst. So that's it.
Okay.
So please, did you get that now? So now,
I've gotten it. It's 5.9.
ma?
Yes, I've gotten it. It's 5.9.
Yes, the reason why yours is different from mine is because while I was trying to explain the average A, I changed some of my figures.
Figures. Yes,
But the
yes.
the data set I sent to the Slack group chat, the answer you have to get is the 5.9 actually.
All right, thank you.
All right, ma. All right, so on to the next. Some question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so there is something that normally confuses me when it comes to this anything that has to do with average if, count ifs, and so on. That's how do you know the criteria and the range? Like instead of so that we don't end up picking the range instead of the criteria, just like this average if you did now. There was no place he wrote criteria range or something. So I might take the wages for the range instead of the
So someone's background is having noise.
job
I'm
ID.
struggling to hear you. I will see your background. I'm hearing noise.
I think it's from praise.
Praise, can you hear me? Oh God. All right.
Okay,
I
I
think
repeat
you're the
myself?
one that someone asked a question just now.
Yeah, I'm the one
That how
talking.
do you okay, you're saying how do you know the
Criteria
criteria and the range?
and the range.
Okay, now for this average if we did, I was explaining something to us that what we are looking at here is we have different job titles here, and that simply means different departments in a company. And now everybody is earning different salary, and everybody is having different age. Now, what we are trying to do is we want to know the average salary, or let me say the average wage rather, of a data analyst. So now, wanting to know the average wage, we know that, okay, what we are using is average if. So now, having known that, for us to now get our answer, when you click any function on Excel, it will write out what is you are expected to have as your answer. So if you see it, you are showing something already. Find average arithmetic mean for the cell specified by a given condition or criteria. And our condition for this statement is if the person is a data analyst, show us the average sum of their average salary. So that's what we are checking for. So if the person is a data analyst, we want to know the average salary of all the data analysts. So now, where can we find a data analyst in this data set? So we know that the data analyst is from this job title column. So that's our range. You understand? So that's our range. Now, what is the criteria? From this range you have picked now, what are we checking out for? That's what Excel is asking us. So now from this page we have picked, we are telling Excel that check out for data analyst. So I have clicked here data analyst, or better still, you can type it out this way. Now I've picked my range and I've picked my criteria. So now it's asking us now, what average are we looking for? So now if you look at this data set, we have the age and we have wage. If I pick wage, it will still give me an answer because this is a numeric value. You can see. So now the answer it's giving me here is the average age of a data analyst. Even if we have someone with 50 years and all and 60 and all of that. So it's trying to exactly tell me here that the average age of a data analyst in this company is 57. But we are not looking at the average age. What we are looking at is the average wage. So I will pick this wage column. So when I press enter, it's showing me $4,800, which simply means this is the average earning of a data analyst in this company. But for the data set I sent to you, your answer should be 5,900. So the average income for a data analyst in this company is 5,900.
Is it me that cannot hear anything? Yes, so. My own is I even have a question. There's oh God. Please, has anyone filled the form? I can't find it though.
Check the chat box, Matt. Check the chat box, please. Check the chat box is there.
Okay.
So I pinned it, so just check the chat box. And I think your instructor is coming back. He's having issues with his network. So let's wait for him. He's going to answer your question. Formulario is going to answer your question. Let him come back. Just ask.
Please, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
All right. So please, I was seeing some people. Izuchukwu, you raised up your hand. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Raise up your hand. Okay, Uzoma, you have a question, please. I'm listening.
Okay, sorry. That was a question. Someone already asked the question and you answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
Akimbode, I can hear you. Please go ahead with your question.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma.
Somebody asked a question before concerning the average use, that if it is talking about data analyst and age, like if the criteria has increased, how are we going to do it?
Okay, if the criteria increase.
Yes, to like 3 criteria, like considering age and data analysts. How do we do it?
All right, that's when we use our average ifs. But we're not dealing with average ifs this evening. I just want us to ask question on this evening. We'll do that when we have our next class. So that one is average ifs, not average if. So we'll do that in our next class.
Okay, sir.
Please. Yes, so if you have more than one criteria, average if works with just one criteria. But average ifs, it works with more than one criteria. That's just like count ifs also. Some ifs. So those ones work with more than one criteria. But for average if, it's just one criteria. So that's the first thing we'll touch before we continue with please look up on Sunday. You have so many hands raised. Let me see. Miss Glory, please, can I hear you?
Okay, sister. My question is, when you highlighted column D, You didn't actually specify if it was D2 to D whatever for the rows. You just highlighted everything and it worked. Subsequently, will it still be working like that without specifying the rows?
It will work because Excel understand that this what I have up here. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen clearly.
Okay. So what I have up here, this is like my heading. So even if I highlight it this way, it will calculate from here for me. But you can also just start highlighting from here. Okay, like what we did here. Let me remove this. So you can highlight it this way. I think that's what you're talking about. I can say D2 to D21. She still give me the answer. Sorry. Yes, D2 to D21. That's what I highlighted just now. So it will always work that way. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, perfectly. Yeah, I heard you. I heard you. Thank you very much. I understand better now.
Okay, so Praise, you are still raising up your hand. Okay, Praise, can I hear you? Praise. Hello, Praise, can I hear you? Okay, Okpeyemi, I'm not seeing your full name, but it's first Horpeyhe. I can hear you, please. Okay, Okpeyemi.
Okay, sir. Good evening.
Yeah,
So,
good evening, ma'am.
based on the question someone asked, I think you've not actually answered the question. Average is based on age range. I don't think you've touched that, right?
No, she was asked what she was asking for average ifs. I think what she said if it is the age and the what's it called? Age and wage, or just for the age.
No, she was saying that assuming there's a question that comes up asking for data analysis within 50 age, within 50
Okay.
or 60, how do we do that?
What you are asking now is count if. So you want to know how many data analysts are 50 years, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like how many data analysts are up to 50 years? Did I get your question correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that one is count if, not average if. So you are
Okay,
telling
okay.
Excel to count from here. How many data analysts is up to, let me use, let me see. Yeah, I'm coming. Sorry.
I didn't select data analyst though.
This one is count. What we do for that one is count if, sorry. Not count if, count ifs. So if it's a data analyst and it's 50 years, let me see if I can bring that out.
You didn't use your equal to sign.
So that's it. We have one data analyst that is 50 years. So it is count ifs, not count if. Sorry.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So if we have like 10 data analysts that is 50 years, it should just tell us that there are 10 data analysts that is 50 years. If we have, if you want to check for 60 years, you can still input it there for 60 years. So that's count if. I'm coming. I think some of us still have questions. So many hands are up. Abdul something. Sorry, I'm not seeing your full name. Just pardon me, but Abdul MAN. That's what I can see.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Okay. I want to know, can you use conditional formatting in terms of the average if formula? For example, if I want to know the average of data analyst workers who earned above 50,000, or like any particular amount, who earn above or below, not all data analysts, but particular set of data analysts who earn more or between or even less, something, not all of them, but some particular group. So can you include conditional formatting under the average if?
I
That
think
is my
I'm not really getting your question, honestly.
okay. For example, assuming we have data analysts. So the data analysts, their wages are of categories. They are not all taking the same salary or wages. So assuming I want to know the average of those who earned more than 50,000. Example, I don't know whether the 50,000 million amount. I want to know the average of data analysts who earned more than 50,000. That's the only thing I want. That means those who don't want, whose wage is not up to 50,000. I don't want their average. I just want those who are data analysts and they earn above the average of those who are data analysts and they earn above 50,000. So I was
Okay.
just asking what is conditional formatting under the average if? That was just my question.
If you want to check, okay, what you're asking is if you want to check the average salary of a data analyst that is earning up to a
Okay.
particular amount.
Who earn above particular amount.
Okay. Let me see if we can bring that out. Okay, 5,000, 5,000. Okay, let's see. I think what you are talking about there can still be used with count ifs. So now
Okay.
so you count if is a data analyst and it's earning up to so and so amount. So it will tell you how many data analysts, anything that is looking for how many. Once your questions look like how many people are earning this or how many people have this in your data set, I think it is a count. So it will count how many data analysts are earning up to that amount. So let me see if we can get that from your count from our count if function.
Sir, can I come in?
Mr. Okiki?
Hello.
Yes, I'm listening.
I said my question has to do with averages. So even this one manually, if I'm to do this manually, and they said they want number of people or data analysts whose wage is above 50,000, I'll just select those who are above 50,000, then count them 1, 2, 3 up to 5, and then sum them and then divide by the number of.
You said you can do it manually. What did you just say now?
I'm just saying if I'm to do it manually.
Okay.
And they said I should count or I should find the average of data analysts whose wage is above 50,000. What I'm saying I will do it manually is that I'll just look at the data, pick those who are earning more than 50,000. I'll get their number. Maybe there are 4 of them. Then I'll add their wages. After adding their wages, then I'll divide by 4. Then I'll get the average. That is what I want. But I want to see whether if this average gives or something, a form can do that for me.
Mr. Okiki, you raised up your hand. Please, you are welcome, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Yes. Sorry. Can I go on?
Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Yes. So, Abdul Man. Sorry, don't let me mutter your name. Yes, you can do that manually.
My name is
Sorry?
my name is Abdul Manan. Manan.
Okay, Abdul Manan. All right.
Okay.
You're welcome. Yes, you can do that manually, but like you said, just maybe 4 data sets or 5. When you have large data and you are working in a fast-paced environment, obviously that will not suffice. That would be a waste of time. You get. But the point of being a data analyst is to be able to bring to be able to quickly get answers from your data, not just you have a data of 10,000 rows. You can't manually do that. You understand?
I was only trying to tell my master like how I want. Like, can I tell Excel to do that for me instead of doing it manual? So I was using the manual for him to understand my question.
Oh, okay.
Manual
I
just
think you also mentioned conditional formatting. I'm not sure you can.
okay.
You can't substitute average ifs for conditional formatting, meaning you can't. Is asking if you can do it using formulas. Yes, you can do it using formula, which is the average ifs or the ifs, any of the ifs available based on the question or based on the question you are trying to answer.
Okay. That's just my concern. I want to know how.
And this formula, you want to know how? Don't worry, we'll treat it on Sunday.
All right. Okay, so
Okay.
I
Okay.
told us earlier that.
Okay, so I
I
told
think
us
I understand
earlier
what
that.
Mr. Abdul is
So I
saying.
think I understand what Abdul
Your
is saying.
question.
Ebenezer, I think you're on 2 devices though. Mute one.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Mute one device.
I'm trying to do that. Okay, I'm muted on the other one.
All right.
So, Mr. Abdul, your question is on average ifs, not average if.
Okay.
So we have to we'll do like 2 criteria to be able to derive the answer for your question. So it's similar to the other lady's question, and I said we'll answer that on Sunday before we go into VLOOKUP and SLOOKUP.
Okay.
So the answer to your questions is on average ifs, not average if. So what we are doing now was average if.
Okay.
So do you understand me now, Mr. Abdul?
Yeah, I'm okay.
So more reason why you should be in Sunday's class.
I will, inshallah. I will try and be there, inshallah.
All right. So I don't know how many questions more we can take before the end of the class. Okay. Praise, you keep raising up your hand, but each time I call you, you are not replying. Hello, Praise, can you hear me? All right, so I think that's all our questions. All right, Mr.
I think what's her name? Jason told me Ayomide. She has been raising her hand since. Maybe she has a question. But I think I answered on the chat. Or you have a different question.
Okay, Jesu Ayotomi, can you hear us? Can you ask your question?
Jason told me Ayomide.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yes, my question, I saw the chat now, but I'm not really satisfied with the answer. I'm talking of, for example, if there's an error, for example, maybe on the job title, probably you want to write web designer, you wrote web designing, and according to Mr. Ebenezer, you said we have to click on web designer the cell, then you will use the find and replace, how will I call it, icon to change it. So I'm asking, in the case whereby we have different errors, do we need to click on the cell before we can do that?
I was not saying you should click on the cell. What I was probably I clicked on it, but that's not how I explained it. I was explaining that when you have a mistake like that, you use your find and replace. So let's say you have a mistake for web designing and back-end developer. So instead of web designing,
Okay.
what you input was web design. I mean, instead of web designer, you input web designing. And instead of back-end developer, you input back-end development. So now that's two different errors in spelling. So you have to take it one after the other. You can't do the two at once. So you first correct web designing. So let me see if you can do that practically. Let me change this. Okay, this is web designing, and this is back end development. All right. So now we have two different errors, and I want to change these two. I'll bring out Control H, or you can go to your ribbon and click Find and Replace here. You click on Find and Replace. You go to Find. So what are we looking for? First, you can treat the web designing first. So I want you to do for web designing first. So find all. So replace web designing with web designer. Then I click on replace all. So now I've corrected the first error, which is web designing to web designer. Now I still notice that in the spelling of back-end developer, I'm having back-end development. So I'll just click on my Control H2 and just do the same thing. So now I want to replace this back-end development with back-end developer. So I also do the same thing, click, and it has replaced that too. So you can't actually do it once. So if you have two different error, you need to take it one after the other.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the response. I also have another question. Okay, is there another
Okay.
way we can troubleshoot to, in case we're having lots of data set, like, do we have a way we can troubleshoot to know errors, like to see errors from our data?
From the spelling.
Yes.
All right. So I don't know if Mr. Okiki have another way to check. Maybe he will share that with us. But one of the way I check mine is for a data set like this, I'll input the filter on it. Then I'll click on this arrow. So definitely I'll go through it to see if the spellings are correct. So you understand? So if it's just that we've corrected this now, if it was when it was still showing back-end developer, I'll be seeing back-end developer and back-end development. So when I see back-end development, I will know that, okay, something is wrong with this data set and I need to correct it. Then I'll apply my find and replace.
Okay, thank you so much for the response.
All right, Mr. Okiki.
Okay, so sorry, I can't share my screen, but on your screen, go to formulas. Go to formulas up. Yes.
Okay.
Click on it. So you can see
error check.
Audit. Yes, you can check errors here. That is when your I would show us examples on Sunday. Just remind him. But you would be able to see or you'll be able to automatically check errors that appears across your data set, especially when there are formulas with it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so Jesus told me you have a reason to be in class on Sunday.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
All right. So any other question?
Yeah, I have another question.
Sir?
I have a question.
Mr. Kiki? Oh God.
Who is on this call and has not submitted the assignment?
Eh?
Who is on this call and have not submitted the assignment? That's my question.
I hope we all got that. Who is on this call and have not
Fine, so
submitted the
Catherine,
assignment?
Catherine, I'm yet to submit mine. I was on it.
I'm yet to submit. People are plenty.
But we extended the date for submission. I had to start begging your community manager.
Okay. Me too. I'm here to submit because I was so busy. Pretend that practicing was not easy for me. So maybe getting to Sunday, I will try and catch up.
You people, the only thing we can do is I don't have access to the assignment or previous videos. So if you don't have access to the videos, just ask. It's free on the YouTube channel. All you have to do is just go to the YouTube channel and you would see it there. But I think what we would do is, or what we can do is, before Sunday, if you submit before Sunday, we would don't know. You people shall get half mark. People that didn't submit for the deadline, I'll be on the deadline then.